Welcome to the 101. I am Andropal, and I'm here to talk about tech. Okay, three big stories. The first one is about, I don't know if you watched any of my videos previously, but you really should because I talk about some of the things that are coming up in this year being really huge on the technology front. One of them is LG. I don't know if any of you caught any of the CES Expo that was last week, but there was some really big stuff that came out. LG came out with an amazing display, and it was at 98 inches, and it's an 8K screen. I told you folks, we are really this year is going to change it all. We are now moving into a technology front that is going to open up the doors for everything for us. Last year, we had great devices that changed the way we look at mobile phones. This year, we're looking at even more technology that's going to change and evolve our world into a much closer connectivity, whether that be through AI systems, whether that be through virtual reality, augmented reality, whatever it is that they have, that we can incorporate into our lives to make our lives that much more dependent or maybe help in our daily lives. So be aware, this is going to be some really cool stuff that we got coming out. I'm not saying that an 8K screen is like on the verge of all of us going out and getting one, but if you look at the annotation somewhere on the screen, you should be able to click that, and it'll take you to an article and talk about the 8K screen. There is one that was a 32-inch screen, and that one was $5,000. So this 98-inch screen, I'm sure it's way out of the price range, but it just lets you know, folks, we are getting that much closer to high-definition realism. It's going beyond what I had ever even imagined. Even 2 years ago. We are really flying fast. Okay, second point is going to be about the devices this year. We have got the LG G6, which is going to be coming out. I'm not sure what kind of display, if it's going to be a IPS, if it's still LCD. I'm really not encouraged by that. I think AMOLED is the way to go. If you look at iPhone, you look at all the Samsung devices, they're all kicking a AMOLED screen. Well, I shouldn't say AMOLED because really the iPhone's going to be using OLED, but OLED, AMOLED, they're very similar. One is organically lit, one is artificially lit. You can make an argument for either of those, but those are the best screens available, in my opinion. And of course, this is not about opinion. This is about giving unbiased facts. Okay, so let's look at the facts. The definition that you get with PPI on an OLED or an AMOLED screen is a much higher tight-knit screen, so you get a much better resolution for the individual. And from all the reports that I can find, everyone seems to say the same thing. AMOLED or OLED over IPS. Now, does an IPS screen show realistic colors? Yes, it does. The biggest problem and the biggest drawback that I see with an IPS display has always been in full lit environments, such as the sun coming down. Man, I'm going to tell you, that screen just is horrible. And then you have to turn up the high concentration, contrast. Then you start tearing the battery up, and get rid of that, folks. Okay, so also we've got the HTC Ultra coming out. There was a lot of bad remarks given to HTC. I have been a big proponent of HTC ever since they came out, which with the HTC One M9 was a great phone, had some great capabilities with it. Problem was their marketing has always been very bad. So they didn't really get the press that they should have. I think this could be a really big year for HTC if the people accept it. However, from what I saw on Twitter and from other feeds, just like their YouTube feed, horrible press. I mean, people just were all over their case, talking about how it was using old tech, how it was not innovative. The Ultra is not a major innovative device. I'll be honest, but it's a safe device. Let's look at the features. It has non-removable battery. It has water resistance. It has a kind of a curved display. What I think it looks like is the Note 7. It's kind of like the Note 7 that we never really got, okay? It does not have a phone jack, so I know all you folks who want the headphone jack, that's going to really mess with you and make you angry. But people, we are moving beyond that, okay? Devices will eventually get rid of that. We are starting to move towards that already, but we're not just there just yet. I think it was too preemptive for Apple, and I think that's why they're getting a lot of hate on that. What's interesting though is that Android communities are doing now what I had said they would do when the headphone jack started to find removal. If it was found on an Apple, it's horrible. If it's found on a Android device, suddenly it's a good idea. Well, I'm not being argumentative here. I'm not trying to say that Android is less than iPhone or vice versa. What I'm saying is that that's a general rule of thumb. If iPhone picks it up and they make it the standard, generally Androiders don't like it, okay? Regardless of what that feature may be. But then the same is true for those that have Samsung, like the iris scanners. Okay, a lot of iPhoners were saying, "What do we need that for? We've got a fingerprint scanner," and it's a nightmare. Everybody has got to have their little babble. My personal feeling, and from what I'm seeing in the market, is we are advancing the technology on wireless everything, from headphones to charging, everything. Let's look at what we can have down the road and see what we can use from this. This will be great for us because if we can have a device that we're walking around and it's charging, you don't have to have it's sitting on a charging pad or plugged into a wall. That's good. That's a good idea. That's an evolution of technology, and so I think there's a lot of good ideas in that. We also have the Galaxy S8 coming out, which is going to be a tremendous phone, which I do have. That's going to be the last story. It's about the Galaxy S8, so I'm not going to talk much about the Galaxy S8. And then we also have the iPhone 8 coming out, and it's got a ton of changes if they all come true. I don't know if they will. There are so many things out there. I'm not going to even put up a link because there are so many articles out there talking about all the iPhone 8 changes, and I'm going to tell you, if it even has half of those ideas, that's going to be an expensive phone. Guys, we're looking at probably close to a $1,000 phone if all those changes were to come into play. And I don't know about you, but the Zenfone 3 that Asus was talking about, yeah, $1,600? Yeah, I ain't buying that. Not many people are buying a $1,600 phone. It's the same way with Apple, and I highly doubt that they're going to have all these great features that they're talking about. It'll probably have some curved screen, OLED screen, full glass. It'll have the stainless steel wrap banding around the sides. I think it's going to be real thin on that, not like it was for the old iPhone 4. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's got that like strip of banding around it, the metal banding. I think they're going to have one, but it's going to be much thinner, and the device will be a lot thinner than it has been. And I think we're moving into a much closer uniformity device, where everybody's going to be looking the same. We're going to have very thin bezels. So let's move on to the last story, which is all about the Galaxy S8. Okay, guys, we may have already been given some renders. And if you look on YouTube, go to Greggles, mentioned him many times. He's showing some renders that were given by companies that these are not Samsung. Okay, so none of those were realistic renders. Okay, we don't know. We all know that everyone's going to create a render and what they think it's going to look like. I remember what the Note 7 previously had the renders for it. They showed all these 4K displays and having real huge, I mean, real thin bezels. Totally different device. I mean, it didn't look anything like what they were showing. However, we now have an article that has got the information about Samsung showing off some of their new AMOLED screens. The interesting thing is the display that they're showing. It doesn't say even Samsung on the device. The device that they're showing has very thin bezels. It's a big enough phone, but the color saturation. Holy cow! If this is the device, guys, we could be looking at the new Samsung GS8. And again, I don't know if there's a GS8 Note coming out. We won't hear about none of that until later. So we're not going to speculate beyond the Galaxy S8. Guys, this could be it. The renders that are being attached into one of the annotation cards, just click that article, take a look at it, view it, see what they're talking about. Look at the color saturations. Amazing, amazing color. If this is truly the next Galaxy S8, it's going to be amazing. So I'm really excited about that. So anyway, guys, until the next time, I'll see you on the flip side.